Hello, hello, and welcome back to Wheel of Games, where we're playing The Pale Beyond. Last time it feels like we finally got into the game proper, and we're seeing all of these icons and controls, and now we finally know how to fill up these bars. So last time, we gave them some extra rations, so now Decorum has at least mostly recovered. Oh yeah, we were elected captain, so now we have to deal with apparently multiple elections. We were elected, but maybe there will be objections raised in the future that we have to continue to gain loyalty on. Oh yeah, we lost what little loyalty we had from Grimly with the bad mistake. But we're getting closer with some of these other fellows. So it's not... Let's see, it's the morning of week 5. It's getting even colder. It's almost entirely daytime now. It doesn't tell us exactly what time of year it is. And we did some exploring last time. Oh, interesting. Last time there were seals there, and we sent one person to gather, and now those seals are no longer there. So that may be something we need to watch out for. That's right, if we assign the scientists, we can get research. So that's another new thing we have to keep track of. So returning to the boat. Let's go around the ship first, because then we'll take requests, and then we'll look to the resources. We're going to need to get some fish soon. They're growing restless. They had grown used to the stirring of the waves against the ship. Now the sudden stillness has them unnerved. They'll grow used to it, in turn. Indeed they will. Oh, good. That was the right thing to say. The pack adapts. Can the same be said for us? Yeah, she was talking about that last time. The dogs are all excellently adaptable. Our crewman, who was injured by the water hammer from when the ship almost went down, he looks to be recovered, so we'd no longer have the injured person. Yeah, those 9, I believe, are those other specialists. We can say hello. If I use all of the scientists, I can get medical comforts. That might be a nice thing if we somehow had the spare time, but I doubt we will. Let's see, last time I'll check on the old cabin. Nope, still just the journal. Although I notice our stuff's no longer in there. Okay, the pot. Let's check downstairs. Well, it doesn't seem like there's more water, but I am still concerned at all the water that seems to be down there. Anyone free for an interview and a portrait? Assign crew for interviews? Oh, we actually get to see her photos now. That's nice. Is that a harpoon gun? Yeah, we got harpoons on the ship. Huh. These are actually quite neat. So, on a ship that's meant to withstand the ice, there's a lot of extra cross bracing, so that in case the ship gets trapped in the ice, it'll be able to withstand, because the ice is essentially always growing, so it wants to fill up any gaps in it, and the ship is weaker than other ice, so essentially if you're stuck in the ice, if the ship isn't extra reinforced, it'll actually get crushed by the ice. So you need lots of extra reinforcement. Oh, that's good. They've got little kennels underneath the side there. Oh, you can gain 1 research and cure them of demoralization by the end of the week. Can I assign you Grimly? Nope. I mean, I still need everyone to be working. And he's like the one guy we already saw in the... let's see, is this going to keep him away for the day? But it did give us a research, so it's basically like turning a sailor into a scientist for a day. And it boosted our decorum, so now we're a little bit more. Okay, that is good to know. Yep, you can always take 1 yourself for each of the food and the coal, and each additional crew member you assign is going to be another 20. So you can get 20 for free, but you can get 40, 60, or even 80 if you assign more people. So that means that if I didn't assign anyone else to coal, I could do normal coal rations because it would be up at 50. And that means I can put more people to work in other spaces around the ship. Oh, medium-sized game. Moderate source of blubber. I mean, I guess that's something I want to put in the hoosh. Okay, so now the furnace should be good for today. And that means we can assign people elsewhere, assuming there aren't any special... the reason it takes 50 is for each crew member, a standard ration is 2 food and 2 coal. If you increase it, it's like 3 per person, so you essentially have 50, 75, half rations would be 25. So that's why 50 should be enough coal to prevent any negative effects. Might as well take care of our own pantry stuff right away. Yep, and then more people. Eat the hoosh. Let's see, is there anything to worry about here? Nope, I think that means that is currently locked, because otherwise the key symbol doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, no other emergencies to worry about. So let's take some requests. Templeton's already here. Oof. Several of them. Okay, let's go with Kasha first. Good day, Captain. Well, as good as can be under the circumstances. Always try to be nice. Good day to you as well, Kasha. I'll be sure to spare you any more obligatory small talk from here. In truth, there's something I've been meaning to ask of you. It's a matter I brought up with Captain Hunt, though he was less receptive. I'm not merely interested in the story of this expedition. I'm interested in the story of the people on this expedition. When the crew have the downtime, I would request that I be allowed to conduct interviews with them. I would like to know more about them. Maybe learn about what happened to Hunt? Well, the third option's kind of a jerk. But we've already done it, so I suppose we're on board. I see no issue there. Conduct an interview as you please. You won't regret it. I'll mark anything useful I discover in the crew manifest. Send them to the Red Room when you can. Oh good, we already stumbled upon that. I was worried he was gonna start belittling me again, because that's a waste of time, and so forth. Shaw, Templeton, word back from the attempts at freeing the ship. Is such a report necessary? Well, as you can see, we're not moving. Group kept at it for a week, but now we're calling it a day. A waste of time and resources then, as expected. I wouldn't be so sure. End of the day, at least now the crew can say they tried. Gave it their all. So we've maxed out the decorum now. Okay, Gnome's the one who dropped a thing of flour on our head earlier. Word around the crew is that we might end up having to move to the ice. We can't free the Temperance anyway. It would be wise to gather what we want to take off-ship with us if we do. Indeed, we'll need to prepare for what could be the inevitable. Aye, most of the tools are in the lower deck storerooms. The metal doors need some work to open, but it's worth what's inside. Okay. There was also that stuff about flooding that might be an issue. They did have to sort of bust open the boiler door, but I'm surprised that the doors on the ship can get stuck shut like that. Maybe we can assume it's from the cold and people aren't going into those rooms. That's an explanation. So now our science man, Mr. Gloss. Captain Shaw, Mr. Templeton, it would appear that some of the crew have taken an interest in the transmission radios we have on hand. It is likely many of their first time seeing this technology, and they have odd ideas of what they're capable of. They believe another ship may pick us up if we monitor them. Ridiculous. They do not have the range to pick up another, not out here. I said as much, but Mr. Turner was adamant we spend the night monitoring them regardless. Even sent me to run the concept by you, Captain. Our decorum is already at max right now. I think if we reject this one, Templeton might be happy. I would say it more nicely, like, tell the science people, like, it has, this range. Like, you put it in concrete terms. We have, like, this is the range. You can even walk out on the ice and test the range for yourself. Someone who's beyond the ice is not going to pick it up. You can prove it to them without just saying, no, we're not going to spend all night. You could just spend like an hour and do it. Of course it's Grimly. We've already got minimum for Grimly. Agreed, as fantastical as it sounds, the technology just isn't there yet. I'll inform the crew. Okay, they likely won't be pleased, but it's a better alternative to wasting manpower. Each crew with a demoralization will cause you to lose 5 decorum at the end of the week. So I should have saved that interview, because Kasha may cure the demoralization. Okay. Oh, okay, he's purple there. The question persists as to how long the temperance can hold. Will we be able to wait out the ice? If there is no change by next week, abandoning the ship may be considered. That feels early. Ah, feel that air. Nothing better than a cold wind to keep you awake. You're an odd duck, York the Third. How many hours of sleep do you get a night? Well, on second thought, better not hearing it. I already know it isn't enough. Okay, he's not getting enough sleep. Let's see, what else do we have? So now I think we can assign people to all of their stations. I don't think I can cure demoralization with the doctor. Okay, I will need to assign at least 2 people to collecting food for the whoosh. But I want to spend as many people as I possibly can doing, like, getting research, as many of those other bits as we can. But we're not ready to go to dinner yet. Especially because I haven't fed the whoosh. What's down on the lower deck? Something new. Ah. The food store, the weapons hold. The scientists hold. Interesting. So we need 1 person to work at opening one of these things? He's not going to be useful for much of anything else. Let's not put him on that. It's tough to say, but let's see what happens. You and Lefty charge into the room. With the water flooding in from behind, you have time to grab 2 items. Aw, man. Oh, plus story items, huh? Well, every 10 research brought home will be proof of success to your employer. Reduces the research by 1 for medical comforts at the med bay. Tinned lemons. Each of them can be used to cure scurvy. And medical comforts. Well, I know how to get more medical comforts. The research, I feel, is essential. And we can make comforts more easily. Yeah, we don't have a way to get more, like, lemons and stuff. Although maybe we can use the pumps to open these up and get the other items later. Rendering any remaining items inaccessible. Oh, and now he's freezing. And demoralized. I'm sorry, Lefty. Well, it's a good thing none of that stuff affects us, it seems. Ah, now it's flooded. Now we should be able to go up top. Okay, so it takes 1 person here, and then it'll be 1 more person downstairs to access that room again. That is good to know. Okay, pantry, we do need to assign people here. Let's see, I want to go up and assign all the people from the top deck first. All of the research and scouting things. Now, how do I make the researchers research? Okay, it's 4 dogs for each of those things. So we now have 10 research, I guess? Oh, we have 11 out of 20. So we could go to the migrating penguins, and that would take up that much research. I'm not sure if it's going to subtract from us or not. So it's difficult to say whether that's worth it. I assume those are the least edible things, and the more you can save up, it would be better to up to the biggest things. Let's see, I still feel like we have to go that way. I'm surprised at how far the scouts were able to get on this. So we have to scout towards... Observe the effects of the summer melt. But then if we do that, how much research is it going to give us? We would have enough people to do 1 more thing. Maybe we could hunt a whole bunch of penguins. We only have 1 more scouting party we can do. Oh, scientists. You instantly gain that much as well as 1 research for the expedition. So if I assign all the science, We're maxed out on the decorum, but this is what the scientists do, is make science. This is tough, because I could save this for like when we really need the decorum. Given that, now I'm tempted to spend all of the scientists to make one of those medical comforts for when we have a disaster and a lot of people need healing at once. So I'm going to save the scientists. But good to know that that's something for... What can we do? Oh, we can do it again. Good to know. So best to spend all the people at once when you do one of these things, because I assume after you've done it, it becomes a unvisitable node, just like this one. Let's keep scouting in the direction of Viscount Island. Send out our next scout. This one's taking 5 dogs. And we have found fish, which we need for the dogs. And that's going to take the remainder of our dogs. So the last scout won't be able to... Okay, that many animal resources at the end of the week. Oh, we need to have our people do this stuff. So yeah, Saltborn. Let's send out the kid and his Da. I like to keep them together. That's as many as we can, and we'll have some fish for the dogs. Okay, they're marked down to hunt this week. We have no more dogs, so we can't send any more people out to scout. Let's see, oh, we can't even send more. Oh, it's more the further you are away in terms of nodes, it's 1 more dog each time. So we won't be able to send people as far. Good to know. Let's see. Yep, we don't have any more research right now. Oops, no, I didn't want to go back a week. I wanted to go back to the ship. There we go. Okay. All the dogs are out, although they all still appear to be here. Okay, we won't have that until the end of the week. There, we have pet a dog. Now let's go down and assign the science folks. And I need all 3. Okay. So now we will have 1 in case of emergency medical comforts. If you can give me these, I can get the crew back on their feet. And now that we have 1 instantly cure everyone in the med bay charge. Now we still need to send people to pull items out in the pantry. So what have we got left? We have the 3 sailors, both of the engineers. Excellent. We have some more stuff. Euphrasia superba. Yep, just send the other 3. Get as much food as we can. Okay, they get to work. I suppose when we call the crew to dinner, that doesn't immediately mean that they are now doing that. Interesting. So we could either have these 2 people... Our last 2 people are the engineers. So we could have them run the boiler. Like, we could have each of them get coal, so we'd be up to 90. And we could run the furnace extra hot to help the freezing people. But if we tried to have one of them run the pumps and another person go in, I'm pretty sure the person who goes in with me is also going to be freezing. And we're going to have to spend extra furnace on them next time. So I think it's better to just get the extra sacks of coal. We don't actually have to spend them right now, so we can reserve of them too. Okay, they get to work. Everyone has been assigned. And we need to... Okay, we need to feed the boiler. No reason not to get it as well up as it can. It should give us some kind of extra prompt. It will instantly cure someone of freezing. I should have done this. I can do that next week if he's not freezing. I was thinking I was going to have to run boiler extra hot to freeze him, but there's a better way to do it. Well, it's time to go up top. Make use of the kitchen while we can. Okay, feed the hoosh. Okay, now all of those things are popped up nicely. To dinner! The crew have their meal. The dinner is shared. And they return to their posts. It's still bright outside. Let's do some Overhearing. No, as far as rations go, this is good. Junior sure knows how to prepare dinner, doesn't he? It's too good for a ship like this. You're pretty old, aren't you? Good eye, lad. Better than mine. Why are you still working? You should be at home with your family. Don't have one. Do you not have any children? I might do. Don't know any, though. More of the same tonight. We'll have to get used to it. Not much you can do with the ice. We'll figure out something to do, won't we? We'll have to. Okay, let's see if we can... Evening? Before we took off, Grimly and I stopped into a greasy spoon in the city. Their sausage and eggs were perfect. Best I've ever had. Now I'm trying to remember its damn name. It's left my head. Just look around once we return. You'll find it. If it's still there when we return. Who knows when we'll be back. They could have closed down or fired their chef by then. Okay. See how we can do with Grimly? It's getting harder to play. Cold makes the fingers stiff. That would be cool. Power through it for the crew. I mean, closer to the furnace. If there was a furnace on this deck, but the crew aren't going to hear it if he's talking about, like, down in the boiler room. Power through for the crew's sake. Aye. Okay, finally something he liked. I wonder if we can talk to Hammond again. Yep. You ever get the feeling you're being watched, Shaw? Couldn't shake the feeling there was a pair of eyes on me while I was working there. I'm sure there's a terrible undiscovered beast lurking in the midst. You might take that as criticism. He's gonna take all of them as criticism, but you don't mock him. You're overworked. You should get some proper rest. I'll get sleep when I can. I often can't. That's just how it is. Should have said the last one. Not going to get rest anytime soon, are we? Oh. Could have used more hands. Hammond is worth 5 men, but even then. Okay, he took it as criticism. Hoping not to have it work that way. Captain, on evenings like this, my good friend Caroline and I would often play chess by the fireside. Makes me wish I'd brought a board with me. Would have made for some light entertainment. I'd have enjoyed a game myself. Yep, she likes... Well, we can't turn back time, can we? Just have to make do with what we have. Perhaps Mr. Templeton brought something along? He seems the jigsaw puzzle sort. Okay. Every time I make someone happier, I make someone else a little unhappier. Okay, Templeton's room. Oh, and we can tell he's in there. Let's say hi. If you find yourself stricken with boredom, I do have a book I would recommend. A textbook on different classes of wildflowers. The topic is more interesting than it may seem, I assure you. We're saying nice things. I'll be sure to bring it to you when I have the chance then. It's probably on the wall right next to you, but okay. Talk to the doc. Is there anything you miss from home? Not anything important, just people. I mean, small comforts. The people, mostly. Not exactly a small comfort, but I understand. Difficult not to think about my family. I miss tea. I would drink a cup every morning and right before sleep. Didn't think I'd miss a simple habit so much. Let's see, he's not wounded, so the doctor can't help with that. Let's talk to Kurt. He takes up most of the room, and he's got 2 beds to himself. Evening, Shaw. Cold one, isn't it? I used to think I was growing used to the cold. But as the years have gone on, the elements have only grown harsher on the body. I'm sure he could handle it. I don't want to say, well, this is harsher than what you've seen, because the tone on how that gets delivered is so important. I'm sure you can handle it, Kurt. And you'd be right. I can still complain every now and then. Okay. All this talking is good for the loyalty, means we'll win our, win any future captain votes. Why, Templeton's now up here. At the bow, you spot Kurt, measuring for any changes in the temperature. Still fast, no signs of any change. He waves. That will be moving any time soon, Captain. Of course, sometimes you never know with the ice. You should get some rest. I'll let you know if anything changes. Definitely don't say that third one. Just saying simple thank you, treat him as the expert he is. You believe in what he's saying. You know, he'll think you're coddling him if you say the second one. Thank you, Kurt. And he likes us a little bit more, even. Take care, Captain. Now, what does Templeton have to say? Captain, a word. I felt now as good a time as any to review the wording in our contracts. You do remember what was written in your contract? We never actually saw the contract, just the job posting. Well, let's ask why that's relevant. This is asking for information. Consider Article 3, and I quote, "The member of the staff shall throughout the period of such expedition obey all commands of the captain and shall use his best endeavors to promote the success of the same. And in the event of anything happening to the captain, shall obey all commands of any member of the staff who shall be appointed by the captain in writing before his death. It being understood that the rest of the staff shall hold the same relations towards any member of the staff so appointed as towards the captain, as appointed by the captain in writing before his death." What are you trying to say? The vote we held settled was only a temporary arrangement in the eyes of the law. Even then, you only made it through by a hair. Unless you somehow managed to wrestle a written transfer of captaincy from Hunt before his departure, in the eyes of the law, you are simply acting in his stead with no legal recourse to call upon. There is a chance Hunt and the deserters are still out there. Should we be reunited, your captaincy will be indeed called into question. And we know a lot of them are in fact loyal to the captain still. Templeton, why are you so invested in the captaincy? I'm invested in the survival of this mission and providing appropriate guidance. You may presume an ulterior motive, but you know my reasoning is sound. The loyalty of the crew means everything. Get them on your side, Shaw. Keep them on your side. That's too blasé for him. He cares about the paper. I see. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Templeton. Remember my words, Shaw. I suggest you start with the Stokes brothers. Seems they speak for many of the sailors. Yeah, no kidding. It looks like we're finished for this week. There's no more people we can assign. I'm worried about what's going to happen with our freezing guy. I wish there was a guide on the status ailments. But we really don't have that. Where is he? Yeah, it just says he's demoralized and freezing, but I can't get info on what exactly that means at the end of the week. If somebody is freezing at the end of the week, does he then become wounded? I just don't know. Well, I guess we're about to find out then. To the night. Okay. So we have everything at normal. It looks like 2 crew members will be cured of their freezing. 1 would be cured of malnourishment. So that means that the freezing is going to go away on its own simply with the fuel rations we have. What happens if we reduce that? Okay, it would reduce morale by a little bit, but honestly, given that we have the, like we can use the scientists all out on the ice next time doing some research, and that should get us the morale we're about to lose with this. So we actually can do a little bit less fuel rations, and then have a whole bunch more saved so we can have more people doing things next week. And we should still cure our 1 crew member who is freezing. No one else will become freezing. So hopefully this is going to work as expected. Yeah, if we reduce the food rations at all. Okay, so yeah, 1 would become malnourished if I reduced the food rations. So we're going to leave it like this and confirm. Okay, they returned with 4 fish. Dogs are rested. Oh, the ship shan't hold much longer. Lefty's been cured. Okay, so the decorum happens at the end. I mean, we lost the 10 decorum. Maybe it's going to apply at the beginning of next week. Let's see. See if it's 90 or 85. But yeah, the ship shan't hold much longer is not a good thing. Okay, it applied at the beginning of the next week. Okay, so that's the demoralization. So let's, I suppose we should always really start with any of these meetings, because that may determine important things, and we can always do the other things later. Templeton, Kurt, Cordell, and Hammond stand inside the beginnings of a meeting. Well, Captain, it's been 3 weeks. Kurt tells me there's still no change in the ice. None. And best I can estimate, what change we will see won't free the ship. I predict the Temperance is more likely to be crushed under the pressure of the ice. How long will that take? A few weeks at most. Unfortunately, we may have to look at our alternatives rather than waiting for the ice to break up. Really don't want to leave, but... I mean, we know what the alternatives are. The alternatives are leave and head towards the island. But are you certain it's a lost cause? You never know, but from what I've seen, I wouldn't take the chance. Leaving the Temperance and making camp on the ice is something we will have to consider. Aye, the longer we stay on the ship, the more fuel we're having to burn. Not to mention risking another boiler incident. I mean, if we leave the ship, there's no boiler, and then that sounds even worse to me. Yes, that matter almost cost lives. Heating a smaller camp burns through much less oil. And without enough fuel to survive a winter, we're dead. Don't think I need to tell you that. I would not be quite so quick to pack up and move out just yet. Why is that? The ship is shelter. The ship is safety. Currently there are quite a few hunting opportunities presented to us. We still need to gather more food if we are to survive, and the ship provides a safe area to hunt from. Right. And most of the crew aren't ready to give up either. They're stubborn just as any good crew should be. I would rather not play into stubbornness when lives are on the line. He has a point. Crew thinks we gave up too early, they'll resent the captain for it. Though we now have a serious bloody flooding problem. We do? Aye, you might have noticed if you'd left your damn forecastle. It is safer to take the time to gather what we need before we leave rather than raid the ship once we make ice. Well, the answer lies with the captain. Should we move off ship this week? Wow. Nope, not yet. It sounds to be like it'll be a couple more weeks before we have to move onto the ice. But yeah, last episode there was that weird sort of graphical thing where it showed a camp out on the ice for a moment. We'll remain on ship for now. That was going to make someone happy and I'm happy no matter what. When we remove the boiler from the furnace, that is when we make our move. When you feel we're ready to go, just go to the boiler room and give the order. Okay, now we can take some requests. Whoa. Okay. Captain, my dogs appear to be struggling in the on-deck kennels. They require a more secure form of shelter from the environment. Dogloos, I believe they are called. Yes, I will require some hands to work on constructing them. We need the dogs, so we're going to make sure this happens. It is for the health and safety of the pack. No, we are putting some crew onto this. Thank you. Let's focus on keeping the dogs safe. Without them, the crew stands little chance of safety themselves. Okay, that's an opportunity for later when we're... Okay, mast was damaged when the ship was being tossed a while back, Captain. Let's get someone to fix it before the Temperance is freed. Freed? Aye, ship could come loose any moment. Heading up to repair the mast is a dangerous task. We don't even know if the ship will sail if the ice clears. It would be worth it, though. Someone could get injured, I'd rather avoid that. There's at least a decent excuse for it. But on the other hand, people... If you're on a ship, you have to have people who are, like, rated to go up on the topmen, as Oberdin referred to them. So there are people who are perfectly handy for doing that. We saw the photographer did it, the acrobat scout lady could do it. There have to be regular sailors who can do it, but I don't think it's worth the risk if we're literally assuming the ship is going to sink. Someone could get injured, I'd rather avoid that. Suit yourself then. That made him happy. Our meteorologist. I was summoned by Mr. Templeton. Yes, Mr. Isaac, this is regarding your personal item. What do you mean? I felt it pertinent to let the captain know that you are carrying a weapon. Excuse me? Perhaps this is my unfamiliarity with expeditions, but I was surprised others did not bring an item to protect themselves. Many of the crew cannot afford such an item to themselves. Captain, it is up to you on what to do with this revolver. With all due respect, this is my personal item, Captain. It is the captain's right to requisition any weapons on the ship. That includes your own. Interesting. Giving it to the hunters would be an interesting thing. But we've got, like, the weapons store. I don't want to piss this guy off. It might be useful to have someone with a weapon on hand, especially if he likes us, so be careful. Oh, he really didn't like that. Good thing I made him happier earlier. We would do well to avoid creating an imbalance of power among the crew. I doubt the sailors would take too kindly to such a thing. And grimly. Yeah, there's rumor going round amongst the crew. They're saying the ship is haunted by the ghost of Captain Hunt. If he never actually left the ship, I mean, that was always an option, but there's nowhere to hide our largest lifeboat inside the ship. So, what ridiculous tripe. I thought you'd want to put a stop to it. Well, yeah, this is another thing it's worth spending the decorum on. We absolutely can't allow rumors like that to run rampant. Aye. Well, he liked that. Crew won't be best pleased you're stopping their stories. Better than allowing fear and superstition to run wild. Aye. Okay, we've done our requests for the week. Head to the boiler when you wish to abandon ship. I suggest we do so sooner rather than later. Although the other people were saying later rather than sooner. Okay. I do like to send people out first. But what I really want to do is... Okay, yeah, call the crew for dinner is the last bit. And now we know how those things flood. Okay, and we need to get as much as we can out of the ship before we leave it, so that's giving us a good reason. Okay, assign crew for an interview. Didn't I have him get the interview first? Oh, no, that was somebody else. Well, that's one of the scientists, not the person I was just talking about. Let's see if this works. Oh, it's increased the decorum. Okay, so that should cure his demoralization. Grab our sack of coal. That's actually the only one we're going to need for this week. Nobody is currently freezing. Abandon ship. Not ready for that just yet. Sack of coal. Okay, the furnace is very much ready. Nobody is freezing, but that might change as we send people in to try to bust open another one of these. Looks like they'll become freezing. And the more people we have, then the more people we need to put the coal on for. But food-wise, we should really only need to do one from ourselves. Oh, spoiled rations, what? What happened here? Soggily exhumed from the temperance. What? But the only thing we're actually getting here is spoiled rations. That's not good. So the fish causes malnutrition? Spoiled rations cause malnutrition. Oh boy. All of the food we get from outside the ship won't. Now we've got a new concern here. Yeah, rusted sustenance. So, we know that the normal rations cured 2 malnutrition. Yeah, now the fact that it only adds 10 means we have to add at least 2 people. We need to have someone more go in there. And we need one person to get more of these spoiled rations. But yeah, that's not good. But we can feed the pot now. Of course, it would be the scientists first. Now, what is that going to do to them? Well, we know that normal rations will cure 2 people of malnutrition, so it's really important to keep an eye on all of those things. Okay, now let's go send the scientists out, along with some scouts, and then we'll see what I've got left in terms of... I don't need to send anyone else to coal or to food. We've got those covered for the moment. Okay. Hunting. That stuff was close. Oh, we can't go any further out. Interesting. So we are basically stuck on the ice here. We could do more research. We absolutely wanted to hunt. Okay, well, we wanted to do research. Oh, it's 4 either way. Do as much as you possibly can. We'll gain some decorum as well as research. I thought I told them to research, not to hunt. Now we can have our scouts do scouting things. So we need to have at least a set of dogs. Let's handle this one first. So how many do we have left? We have all the scouts and both engineers. So we should have plenty of people that we, excuse me, that we can spend hunting. It's up to 4. Okay, so after this, I can have him do the pumps and send, like, who do I want to let get freezing? I think he was the drunk guy, so we'll let him get freezing. And we're not going to have enough scouts to have everyone doing this, so acrobatic lady. And yeah, we're splitting up runt today. But as many penguins as we can get, this is going to translate directly into food. Right, there were fish there last time, and they're not there this time. So I guess we have to be prepared to dispatch people somewhere immediately after we discover a location. But we could send scouts to 2 different places if one of those places is this one. Okay, it's another research location. And we can do one more scout, but not there. Find as much as we possibly can. It's another research opportunity. Pressure ridge, that might help us keep the ship for another week. And there's more places to go that direction. Okay, but we've used all the dogs, so we can't do any more stuff off ship. Oh. That's not what I was expecting to have happen. Because our scouts are... I didn't think I had any fish. Did I forget about something? I did forget about something. Well, my mistake, I wasted a fish. Because we don't have any more scouts to send out, and all of the scientists are already... Unless I wanted to send more people out to hunt. But we don't have any hunting locations right now. I keep thinking, because that usually means go back. Oh, what's down here? Oh, building the dogloos. I wish you had been on the regular map. I would have... I don't want to make the engineers cold. Like, the engineers are important. I don't want to set them to freezing. And these are also going to increase our sled dogs. Wish I knew about this stuff before. Okay. So we'll have the ability to... we could pump out the science room again, but what was in there was the medical comforts and some other stuff. It might be better just to open up 2 different doors and grab what we can and really get new information. Okay, we've assembled snowy shelters for the dogs. Our first off-the-ship thing. And the fact that we can zoom out really far means that the ship is not going to be in a great position for much longer. I have 2 people left. Right, we were probably going to get a couple of people freezing by opening 2 more of these doors. Okay, coal and food should be fine. General storage. The weapons hold? I hope we don't need weapons, but maybe we can use these for hunting. And the food store, also very important, because our stuff's spoiled upstairs. Okay, so let's have Tucker go in with us. With the water flooding in from behind, you have time to grab 2 items. So, spice crates, once per week. Feed the hoosh to gain 3 food for each person with malnourished or scurvy. More tinned lemons. More tinned food. So, stuff that's not yet spoiled. You can get 5 total spoiled food. Well, yeah, the tinned food is far better, but the spice crates just having an upgrade. I always like to have things that give you ongoing value, more so than an individual upgrade. So the lemons are good, we've got some. I don't want the spoiled food. These are the 2 that are remaining that I want. I mean, this is basically worth a week of food. Like, we can put 1 regular one and a couple of spoiled ones in. This is tough. But now that our food is much less valuable, we're in a constant problem. I may have to come back in to try to grab the scurvy. Oh, yep. As expected, he's now freezing. Okay. And send 2 Johns in with us to the weapons hold. With water flooding in from behind, you have time for 2 items. Okay. Ale cakes cure 1 demoralization. Right now, we've got the whole red room thing going on. Who knows what's going to happen later? So flares. Each one of them is 3 flares for alerting humans and alarming wildlife, and we can get fuel out of them. A hunting shotgun. Yeah, a camp upgrade, I always like those. This is the kind of thing where I may want to come in again and get the other things, but yeah, 2 upgrades. So, large animals, yes, and medium animals, yes. So it was for hunting. Okay. Yep, and now he is freezing. But now every crew member has done their things. Okay, it's time to call everyone to dinner, and then afterwards we can make our rounds to talk to everyone one last time. Okay, the crew have their meal. And return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled. It's still bright outside. Okay, talk to Grimly and Junior. And I swear, when the hook came swinging, Captain Hunt had to pull me down. This was 5-6 years ago? I had no clue what I was doing. Both of us nearly lost an eye that day. Same expedition, Ward lost his arm. Half the time I don't think Hunt knew what he was doing either. That would piss off Grimly. He was an interesting man. He seemed a good he did not seem a good captain from what little I saw of him, so let's just say he was interesting. Aye, he is. Did you need something? Commending them for keeping the spirits high was not a bad idea. I do still want to know more about this guy. This should be a good thing. Grimly blew us off last time. Heard stories, and I was curious. I'd like to know more about the man. Didn't get your fill while he was here, eh? Worried about the vote, aren't you? Oh, is that it, Shaw? I actually was checking in. I am the captain. I mean, it's obvious why they voted the way I did. How are you now? All right, let's leave it at that, Grimly. Nice of you to check in, Shaw, but I think it's time the crew called it a night. Is there an issue I'm not aware of? A word to the wise. I have nothing against you, but we sure don't know you either. It's going to take more than pleasantries to earn Grimly's trust. Ever have pancakes? Served some for Hunt once, and he started demanding them every time. You only have them early into a trip, though. Ingredients don't keep that long. Stop, you're making me hungry. Haha. Well, don't expect me to whip up anything this late. Miss the water. Got used to playing on a rockin' ship. Start to feel sick when I'm off too long. That sense of constant movement, nothing else like it. Hey, you get it. Although I'm landborn, so he should be calling BS on me. I like feeling like I'm going somewhere. So we're starting to work up some trust from him. Our camera operator. Wonder how my editor will find my report in its finished state. It was a nightmare getting my plague story published. Only the Daily Appeal was willing to pick it up, and they were hardly the most reputable of papers. He did wonders for their reputation, I understand. Yes, and they're more than willing to coast off mine. Not that I mind. People buy the Daily Appeal just for my reports, for that to being drowned out by other voices. Okay, let's try to make him happy this team. One of Templeton's team tried to talk to me while I was working. They were going on and on about their spouse or something. Ended up telling him to F off. I think they got the message. You have permission to do so anytime your work is interrupted. That's what he wanted. Didn't need permission. I knew you'd understand. Needed to make him happy with that, though. How are we doing for our items? Yep. Fish. I mean, they're lasting week to week. Yeah, we got the lemons. We have 2 non-spoiled crates of food. Yeah, the crates went really bad as soon as we stopped. Yeah, we need more people to do that. Talk to both of them. Anything up here? Can't talk to him today. Evening, Captain. Have you been reading that textbook? I understand if you do not have the free time. I can't say it's interesting. You're right, I haven't found the time yet. A shame. But perhaps the lack of free time should be seen as a positive. Productivity will stave off the boredom more so than luxury. Yeah, if we said it was boring, he just wouldn't have liked that. How about Kurt? Evening, Shaw. I've been thinking about our pay once we return to land lately. Don't mistake me for the avaricious sort, but I do have expenses to pay. Before we departed, I received a letter from one of my daughters asking to cover the cost of her stage school. Be ashamed to promise a luxury only to retract it, don't you think? Ah, first and third are kind of an insult. I wasn't aware you had a daughter, Kurt. Two, in fact. Both with the first wife. Okay, nothing else to say there. No one hiding it fore or aft. Back up top. Oh, listen at the kennels. What do you have in your pocket? What does it matter to you? Hunched over, clutching something? It's suspicious. I'm holding an egg. An egg? Keep my hand warms. Boiled egg keeps heat. That is actually rather ingenious. We know the cold. Better than you lot anyway. Still no signs of change, I take it? Afraid not, Templeton. The ice is yet to budge. Moving to the ice looks more and more to be a necessity. As I see it, you may just be right, chum. Your team of scouts best be keeping their focus. If we cannot find a way from this pack, the two notice you. Ah, Captain. I wouldn't worry about the ice. My team will find a path, I have no doubt. They best. The Temperance certainly won't be moving anytime soon. Alright, you have that right. If only we could all possess your positive demeanor, Mr. Darling. A dour face never pulled anyone from the ice, Mr. Templeton. Now let's take one more look out there. Now that I know that the fish recovers the sled dogs. Interesting. Yeah, it said plus sled dogs from those dog glues we made. And I don't see any change in that yet. But now that I know about that, I could have sent our last scout person out for that. But hunting at least is going to be better in the future. Okay, back to the ship. Nothing else hidden here. Okay, let's end week 6. It's getting colder. Okay, so we have 2 crew members freezing. Only one would be cured of the malnutrition right now. But we don't have the food to go up to the high rations. So I thought the normal one would cure 2, but it's only going to cure 1. So the malnutrition from those spoiled crates is going to be worse than I was expecting. But we will at least cure both of our freezing people using the fuel rations. And we know a way to get... we can use the engineers to stoke coal into the furnace to get somebody warm again. But I don't want to leave the ship until I've at least looked at each one of those things once. Maybe double-dipped back into one that, like the weapons one, that looked good. But I think this is the best we can do. More fuel rations. That wouldn't recover more of our decorum, but right now the decorum's actually not so bad. I'm hoping that our demoralized fellow is about to recover from his interaction with the photographer. Okay, 3 research, 4 penguins. The dogs are rested. Another week on the ice, naked in the wind. Okay, no longer demoralized. No longer freezing. Or freezing, good. And Mrs. Gloss is no longer malnourished. Uh-oh. Okay, malnourishment progresses into scurvy. That's not good. So we're learning a bit more each time. Okay. Okay, it has saved our game. Hey, we still got the dog loos out there, but I feel like we need to build more stuff onto the ice before we move it. This is again one of those things where you prepare the crew, like this is a if we need to, we're going to put the stuff out onto the ice so that we are ready, and it's like, okay, you know, show them like something is cracked on the ship's not going down, but like, look, because of that, we now need to move the stuff into those things out on the ice. Take one look at scurvy. Okay, he's invalid thanks to the scurvy. If we put this in the hoosh, that would cure him, but it's going to cure him at the end of the day, so we're down by 1 scientist this week. But we know it saves at the beginning of the week, so we have learned a little bit more again about how this game works, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.